Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, Russia smacked the West by telling them, boys, if you put troops on the ground in Ukraine, we'll be at war. And now the Westerners are scrambling. Actually, we didn't mean to say that. But let me show you how the Western media, the weasels, are portraying Peskov's answer to the question, what would Russia do if these guys put troops on the ground? Now, you have to make a difference from the very beginning. I want you to pay attention to this when I'm going to read these articles. One, troops on the ground and troops fighting in Ukraine. Now, there could be troops on the ground in Ukraine, but not fighting. And there could be troops on the ground fighting. You got the difference? All right. Why? Because you're going to see Peskov's answer towards this and the other guy's answer towards this. They talk about two different things. Why? The idiots are pushing for a war with Russia. And Russia said, you want war? We're going to give you war. Let's start with the first article. All right, let's do it with right here. Ukraińska Prawda. Kremlin warns of inevitable war with NATO over possible troops deployment in Ukraine. And it says here, Peskov said that the presence of NATO troops on territory of Ukraine would lead to a direct conflict between the alliance and the Russian Federation, escalating a situation. And he said, in this case, we should not talk about the probability, but about the inevitability. And inevitability, Jesus Christ, of direct war with NATO. That's how we assess it. So, bring troops on the ground, we're gonna fuck them up. Now, this is what he said in Russia Today. Kremlin reacts to Moscow's remarks on NATO troops in Ukraine. So, not fighting. Remember, the first one was accurate. He didn't say anything about fighting. You put them on the ground, we're going to be at war. Why? Because NATO is going to do what I told you will do, but it's going to be for a different video. I'm going to analyze it. I was right. These guys will bring love-making troops, not fighting. No, we're not going to fight the Russians. No. But Peskov said, no, we're going to fuck you up if you deploy any troops over there, regardless if they're fighting or not fighting. This is the article right here. And I'm going to go to Russia Today. And it's exactly what he said. Kremlin reacts to Macron's remarks on NATO troops in Ukraine. A direct war with US-led bloc seems inevitable once it puts boots on the ground. Doesn't say fighting, boots on the ground, fighting. Why? Because let me read you first what he actually said. And he says, about the possibility of direct conflict with NATO is if Western troops are sent to Ukraine. Only sent. The Kremlin spokesman said, in this case, I'm quoting, we have to talk not about the probability, but rather the inevitability. Jesus Christ. All right, so this is it. Remember, he's talking about any kind of Western boots over there, doing whatever they do best. Okay? And now I'm going to show you how the West idiots are portraying that. And you see the difference right here? Reuters, Kremlin warns of conflict with NATO if alliance troops fight in Ukraine. So if they're over there, no, Russia is not going to be at war with us if we don't fight. So not troops on the ground, they added fight. It's not the only article, right here, other liars. This is from Radio Free Europe. Russia warns of direct conflict with NATO if troops from alliance members fight in Ukraine. All right, my friends, we got that covered. So he didn't say fight. He said puts boots on the ground. That's what he said. So I, with my little chicken head, think, or my chicken brain, think that these guys are just saying, don't worry, the Russians will not get in a war with us if we just bring, troops over there on the ground, but not fighting. No, that's not what he said. He said troops there. If you send troops over there, we're going to be at war. Did you see that? Reuters and Radio Free Europe. The only ones were the Ukrainians and the Russians who translated and reported it accurately. Don't you think it matters? Don't you think it's a difference between troops on the ground and fighting? You say, well, it's understood that troops on the ground means, fighting. No, otherwise, what do they put over there? Fight. Both of them, Reuters and the other weasels. Why would they put it this way? Right there, fight. Right there, and right there, fight. Both of them. And here is the Russians, boots on the ground, and this guy says troops deployment. Well, my friends, that's the way I see it, and I think I'm 100% right. Why? You'll see. You'll see because I already know, because I already read some articles coming from the West trying to find a way and justifying, like, no, we're not going to send them over there to fight, just going to be over there just to repair, do some things like this, just going to make some babies over there, just going to, yes, that's a rocket coming, okay, what do you think that is? All right, a round table here. My friends, if you traveled or if you went around the block only halfway, not a few times, halfway, you will realize they put that word fight for a reason. Why? Because they are getting ready for the next move. The next move is, well, we're not going to fight. Next video that I will make exactly on what the Western weasels are talking about. They say, well, these are our details in sending troops on the ground. They're not going to be fighting. No. Promise, promise, promise. Pinky promise too. I mean, that counts, right? So Russia will smack them. These guys will not, I mean, it seems like there are two groups over there in the West. One, really, I know who's pushing it to fight the Russians, the Europeans, to have the Europeans fight the Europeans. And the guys pushing it are not Europeans. And are not American or Canadians either. Or British. Okay, I zoom it for you. Okay, so those guys who are trying to push the Europeans, fight the Europeans, are not our stock. All right, and these guys are pushing. I say, wait, no. Yeah, but it's not gonna be. It's gonna be just a foot in the door, just troops deployed, not fighting yet. What did I tell you? These guys will get to this. The decision has been made. Now they're working on details and see how these baboons will react to the details. You'll see. Well, what will Russia do? We're going to destroy their cities. Nuclear war? 50-50. Maybe, I don't know, maybe more. It depends how the Russians see it. If the Russian says, well, that's a threat to our national security and it's a threat to our existence as a state, yeah, there's nuclear weapons. What do you think the Western were going to do? The group that I was talking about will say, don't worry, Europeans. Don't worry. Nothing will happen to you. Just go, just bluffing macho guy over there. Why? Because they're not involved. They're outside of it. And they see Europeans destroying one another, which is going to be, by my assessments, a celebration in their circles. And they're going to have another, I don't know, yearly celebration for that one, because it seems like all those guys' celebrations are based on, I don't know, killing some, destroying some, doing that. You look into it. Thank you very much for or purifying. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.